Hello everybody, I just want to give you guys an idea of my raw life and what I do as a raw food vegan who's been living this way for, it's been almost 30 years now. And when I first started eating this way, I thought I'm going to count, but then after doing it for several years I decided to stop counting, but then I started to count again. I don't do it to boast, I just do it to let people know that this is a real reality and this can happen and you can do it. But besides the food, life in general is just complicated. And for me, the raw food diet can be complicated if you make it complicated. So recently I stopped eating all my recipes and dehydrated foods that I was eating because it was just getting complicated. And not in terms of making the food, because I got married several years ago and my amazing wife would make me the food. So that's easier for me. I know it's much more harder when you're just a single person to make all these complicated recipes, but it should be actually easier because you have less responsibilities when you're single than when you're married, but it balances out. But the thing for me was just the complication of the digestion of the food and realizing, that, hey, this isn't the way to do it. Because for years, like when you first get into a raw vegan diet, eating dehydrated foods is great. It's a great transition to eating whole fresh foods in their fresh state. It's a great transition, but after a couple of years you got to get away from the recipes and the dehydrated foods as much and just start eating more simple. And I even made videos when I was doing that and everything was simple, but then it got to a point where it was like I fasted for, this was like, I don't know, after being 15 years raw vegan, I fasted for 30 days. It was like a 30-day water fast. And during the fast, I was thinking of all those recipes that I used to eat and looking at some of them during the fast. I wasn't craving food, I was just thinking of them. So when I came out the fast, I started to eat and make some of those recipes and eat them and enjoy them again. And that was fine. Then I got married and then my wife started making more dehydrated foods. And I'm literally about to take my dehydrator out of my kitchen because I'm never going to use it again or never eat dehydrated foods again. But I am definitely gonna, I've already pretty much cut back tremendously. And I noticed a difference. See, my weight has been like, I've been traditionally like, when I was eating a standard American diet, I was around 155. I'm 5'7", I was around 155, my waist was pretty big. But then what happened is I started eating the raw vegan diet and I immediately went down to like 140. And I was 140 all that time. For many, many years I was 140. And I felt fine doing 140. I felt great doing 140. That's my ideal weight, my best weight. But when I fasted, of course, I would lose some weight. I like to go to the gym, but 140 is my place that I like to be. I knew if I get over 140, maybe 150, going back to where I was, it's not the ideal for me or the best for me. So as I was 140, all those years, that's great. As I started eating all these dehydrated foods, I started to realize my weight was going up. And now my weight was like 150 or even 155. And I'm like, something not right here. And it's not that I want to be underweight or overweight. I do exercise in the gym and I feel my body's in good shape. But it's just something wasn't right. And I just know my own body and know what weight is best for me. So immediately since I stopped eating all that dehydrated foods and those recipes, my weight now is around 143. It fluctuates between 143 and 145, but I know I'm getting back to that ideal of 140, just the way it should be. So that's what I'm recommending for my body, or I know where my sweet spot is. But it's different for others. And for what I've done is, over the years, I experiment with my body, and I know what my ideal is for my body. Like, for example, sleep. I know I need, or I prefer to get 8 hours of sleep. I can get by on less, but I know 8 hours is my ideal. So I try to hit my ideal. I know, for me, like, making videos and doing things earlier in the day is better. I love being up in the morning. I love being up early. That's ideal for me. So I can do other things and get out of that, but I just don't feel as right as when I do it the right way. So eating, I know 2 meals a day is ideal for me. I know I can fast, I can eat more than 2 meals a day, but I feel best when I'm doing 2 meals a day. I know when I'm eating food right from my trees, I feel better than eating food from the store. That's working best for me. I know the food's picked ripe. I know I'm trying to eat it. I know when I drink juice, when I drink it right away, it feels better for me than leaving it in the refrigerator and drinking it later. So you get to know these things. I know if I eat too much sugar, too much fruit too quickly, or in a juice form, especially juice or blended, I don't feel as well. I can do okay eating a good amount of fruit, but if I blend it, not as well. And it depends what it's blended with. If I put some fat in there, like if I have a banana smoothie and there's like some tahini in there, I could do better with that than if I just had straight up banana water. Like mangoes, for example, I could sit and I could eat a good amount of mangoes, but if I blend the mangoes, I don't feel as well after I have the blended mango. So I know it works best for me. For me. You know, and I got to be careful with certain things. I know when I'm driving in my car, I don't want to have any nuts around when I'm driving in my car, especially on a long trip. So I'll just keep eating and eating and eating, and I will overeat on nuts if I'm distracted or not distracted or bored and just driving. But when I'm, when I'm home and I'm focused, it's not as bad. I do fine with not eating too much nuts. So late at night, I know if I eat the times I normally eat, I do great. But I know if I eat too late, it messes up my whole day, my sleep. I don't sleep as well. And I know if I eat too early, it messes up my day. Because I try to do 2 meals a day. And I used to like to eat a morning meal and then like an afternoon meal and not eat a later meal. But now I say, well, what if I'm hungry later? So now I don't eat until like noon, and then I'll eat a meal maybe around 5, and that's it. Because I'm getting ready for bed now. I'm not going to eat later. Even though I'd like to stop eating earlier, I still try to space it around appropriately, and that's the way I do it. So those are some things I found that just works best for me. Now, I got my situation, which is different than other people's situation. We all have to look at our situations when we think about these things. I have children, I'm married, and I have a lot of responsibilities. I keep busy. So we all have to gear things toward our own situation. But the main thing is, and the main focus of this video is to find what works for you. Find your spot. Find what you need to do. I prefer to do 100% raw. 100% vegan. I know some people that's not best for them. Some people, especially if you're in a colder environment, I'm in the tropics here. Some people in a cold environment might want to do some soup. They might want to do some steamed vegetables. There's no right or wrong or good or bad. It's like what works best for you. And when you're unhealthy, your body can't give a true reaction. It gives false reactions. But when you're healthy, your body can truly tell you what's happening and what's going on and if it's ideal for you. So get yourself to a position where your body can give you true reactions and listen to what your body's telling you. All right, so I'm going to make some videos here, more on my raw food journey. And I call my raw food journey, but it's really my raw life journey. That's why I named my website Raw Life and not Raw Food, because food is part of it, but there's so much more. I know I need to exercise. I know it's great for my bones, it's great for my health, and as a raw vegan, I think it's important, or even as a vegan or any, I think it's important to do muscle building exercises. So all these things I've learned over the years that work best for me, and maybe for some of you that might be your spot also. But one thing I've learned is experiment and try and see and decide. All right, put your comments below of what works best for you, how long you've been raw vegan, or if you aspire to be so. And if you have comments and questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. But I'm going to make some other videos here getting on my daily journey. Right now, what am I doing now? I'm putting in an irrigation system for some of my fruit trees. I have a lot of fruit trees. I grow a lot of my food. I continue to experiment and learn about growing food, but my vegetable garden is could be doing a little bit better, so I'm learning and trying new things out with that. My fruit trees are doing wonderful. I'm really excited about that, and I'm just excited about life. That's something very important, to be excited about life. That's when you know you're doing what you should be doing, when you're excited to get up and live your life. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.